Hey, Brian Maxwell here, checking in. I appreciate you for watching the video. And in the last video I went live and was sharing with people how to use Facebook to drive leads to yourself. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you check that out. But I got a couple of requests where people were telling me that they were struggling with asking for a cosigner. So in this quick video, I just want to come at you with quality content, as always, that you can use and that you can apply at your dealership immediately. And since you're here and while you're here, do us all a favor and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and make sure that you smash the notification bell, because there are new videos coming out every week to help you continue to improve your performance at your dealership. So when it comes to a cosigner, a lot of times, most salespeople have no idea if another decision maker is going to be necessary to help the individual, or if there's even somebody else on hand in the event that a cosigner may be needed. So one of the things that I highly suggest you do is to handle it up front early by learning as much about this person's internal buying system as possible, because everybody has what's called an internal buying system. Some people like to think about it. Some people say they want to pray about it. Some people say they want to talk to their spouses. Whatever it is, but we all have one. Now, the mistake that a lot of salespeople make is they believe that within a short time span, they're going to be able to alter this individual's internal buying system. And what we end up doing is altering their perception of us and giving them a bad taste in their mouth, because we're trying to override the methods that they use to make their own smart, safe buying decision. So what you want to do is you want to attempt to isolate that early to avoid it being a hurdle later on. Because when you wait till later and that issue comes up, as a sales professional, now you're backpedaling. And when we're backpedaling, we're off balance. Nothing cool about that. But when you handle a situation, which means you bring it up, you ask the right questions, and you get it addressed early, it will minimize, if not eliminate, that being a hurdle later on. So we're talking about the cosigner. So the first thing you want to make sure you do is during your qualifying phase or needs analysis or filling out your guest sheet or your guest information sheet, you want to ask certain questions that will keep them giving you information, but will also allow you to use what's called layered questions to find out more about what's going on. Remember this thing: good salespeople practice what to say, great ones practice what to ask. And so having the right questions, the right arsenal, the right word tracks will prepare you for these situations. So when you're interacting with your guests, you're building rapport, you're asking them personal questions, also relevant vehicle questions. Now, an excellent way to segue into if another decision maker is going to be necessary or is a part of the equation, you want to ask something simple like this. So let me ask you, John, or let me ask you, Renee, is anybody else going to be driving this vehicle besides you, or is anybody else going to be riding in it with you? Well, yeah, my significant other. Awesome, awesome. Now, if you find something that you really like, are you going to be the one making that decision? All right? Right there, we ask, is anybody else going to be driving it besides you or riding in it with you? And when you ask people that question, you've given them options. And so it's not a close-end question where they say yes or no. Remember, in a selling situation, the only time you want to ask a close-end question, which is one where the response is either yes or no, is when you know the logical response is yes. Because no has never been associated with anything positive. And as you take them through the process, you want them staying as positive as you possibly can, okay? So when you ask them, okay, is anybody else going to be driving besides you, or is anybody else going to be driving in it with you? Well, yeah, my significant other. Awesome. Now, if you find something that you really like that works for you, are you going to be the one making the decision? Okay? Or is this a decision that you're going to feel comfortable, making on your own? Or, asking them, oh, well, yeah. They say, well, yeah, if I find something I like, yeah, I'll be making a decision. You want to make sure that you confirm that up. Okay, so you are the judge and jury, right? The buck stops here then, right? Right. You want to get them to confirm that they are the judge and the jury. All right. Now, does that totally remove the fact that later on they may say that they want to get with somebody or talk to somebody about it? No. But what it does do, it substantially reduces the likelihood, decreases the likelihood of that being a hurdle later on, because they said out loud to you and to themselves, most importantly, that they are the judge and the jury. They are the decision maker if they find something that they like. Now, after that question, to kind of give you a gauge on whether there may be a potential cosigner necessary, you just want to ask them, hey, listen, John, or let me ask you a question. I'd like to ask you a question, Renee. Do you feel there's anything in your previous credit history that may prevent us from using one of our primary lenders? Or is there anything in your previous payment history that may prevent us from using one of our primary lenders? You want to ask this question. One, it eliminates them having to say whether their credit is good or bad. Because how many times will the customer say their credit is good, it turns out it's bad. And there's been times when somebody says, oh, the credit may not be that good, and they get approved immediately with zero problems. And so as opposed to asking them, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do they think their credit is, or how they think their credit is. Remember, people buy 90% based off emotion and back it up with 10% logic. So as human beings, we're not logical thinkers. If so, we wouldn't eat meat, we wouldn't smoke, we wouldn't drink alcohol, we wouldn't do any of those things. But, man, a piece of steak with some A1 on it, a little bit of fat, sure enough tastes good. You know what I mean? So it's the emotional stimulation that gets us to take the action. And it's the logical explanation that allows us to be able to justify it. So when you're interacting with somebody, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, how do you think your credit is? Or do you think you have good credit? Or, what type of credit do you think you have? No, what I'd like to know is there anything in your previous payment history or your previous credit history that may prevent us from using one of our primary lenders? Because I'd rather you tell me there was a repo. I'd rather you tell me that there was a foreclosure. I'd rather you tell me that there was issues with the credit card or a bankruptcy, whatever it is, okay, as opposed to you telling me what you believe you rated. I'd like you to give me a little bit of an explanation about what's going on in your recent history, if anything, that may prevent us from using one of our top tier lenders, okay? Now, so this is early on. So you ask them, hey, is anybody else going to be driving the vehicle besides you? Or is anybody else going to be driving in it with you? Oh, my significant other, really? So if you find something that you like and that works for you or works for you and your family, are you going to be the one making that decision? All right? Yeah, I'm going to be doing that. So you are the judge and the jury then, right? Making sure you're nodding your head up and down. So the buck stops here then. Am I right? Okay, right there confirming it up. And the next thing we want to know is, what do you feel? Do you feel like anything in your previous payment history may prevent us from using a primary lender? Or what do you feel, based on your previous credit history, may prevent us from using one of our primary lenders? You want to get an explanation. What do they feel in their previous credit history that may prevent us from using one of our primary lenders? Oh, they may say nothing, or they may tell you what it is. If they tell you that there's something there, write it down. So at least the management knows, okay, let me go to this specific lender here, because they deal with people who may have a bankruptcy, who may have a repo, who may have a foreclosure, or any of those things, okay? So now let's just say you went in there, you got with the management, you guys have already ran credit, and the person really does need a cosigner. Sometimes the sales consultant comes out and acts as if somebody just died, and it shouldn't be that way. You should always maintain your enthusiasm throughout that entire step of the process. So when you're coming out, you want to let them know, hey, listen, hey, we had a small issue, okay? But the good news is you do have the option to start enjoying your vehicle right away. So you want to let them know, all right, just came out of there with the management. We did run into a small issue. It's just a small issue. Because the good news is you do have the option. You will have the option. You do have the opportunity to start enjoying your vehicle right away, okay? And then a good question to ask them is, who do you feel is willing to help you by being added so you can drive home in your vehicle? Now, I want you to listen to that pattern interrupt, as opposed to, hey, do you have somebody that want to be a cosigner? Who do you have that can be a cosigner? John, Renee, who do you feel is willing to help you by being added so you can drive home in your vehicle? And I'm going to repeat that. John or Renee or Lucy or Bruce, who do you feel is willing to help you by being added so you can drive home in your vehicle? Who do you feel is willing to help you by being added so you can drive home in your vehicle? All right? So this is not who they think, but who do they feel? Because we don't want them to minimize it. We want them to feel. Who do you feel is willing to help you by being added so you can drive home in your vehicle? Because the word cosigner is so frightening to people. Even if there's another person sitting in the room that may just be a friend, if you can avoid using that term cosign and you just use a pattern interrupt, because, and just ask, hey, who do you feel is willing to help you by being added so you can drive home in your vehicle? All right? This is how you go about it. Remember something, it's not what we say, but how we say it. It's all about how you ask. What words do you use? Because words trigger certain emotions. That's why they're called trigger words. So if you notice, as opposed to using the word cosign, I use the phrase would help you by being added so you can start enjoying your vehicle. You notice I didn't even use the word today. You can use start enjoying your vehicle right away. Start enjoying your vehicle immediately. Start enjoying your vehicle as soon as possible. The only reason why the term today, because that phrase puts pressure, and this has been polled out to hundreds of people. When they hear that word today, it adds pressure and they begin to start shutting down again. So utilizing a pattern interrupt, it says, hey, who do you feel is willing to help you by being added so you can drive home in your vehicle? So let's recap real quick. You want to learn how to handle it up front. Great question to ask is, hey, is anybody else going to be driving in the vehicle besides you? Or is anybody else going to be driving in it? Or is somebody going to be driving in it with you? Oh, okay, my significant other. Awesome. Now, if you find something that you really like, are you going to be the one that's making the decision? If they say no, find out a little bit more. Okay, are they going to be coming in so they can put eyes on it and put their hands on it also? Or is this something you'd like to take to them so they can take a look at it and check it out? All right? And let's just say, if they say, no, it's just me. Okay, so you are the judge and the jury. Or, so the buck does stop here. All right. So you are the one, right? You just want to confirm up with them that, yes, I am the one that will be making the decision. If they tell you there's nobody else that's needed, if they find something they like, confirm it up. The very next question is asking them, hey, what do you feel maybe in your previous credit history or in your previous payment history that could prevent us from using one of our primary lenders, if anything? Okay? Get them the opportunity to explain and expand if there's an issue, and if there's not, they'll say it's not. If there is, write it down, because the more information you can share with the management team, the less time they have to waste submitting it to lenders that they know may not deal with it, and they can submit it to the right place. All right? Now, once you come out of there, credits ran, okay, because that was all part of the qualifying. Credits ran, and they do need a cosigner. As opposed to acting like somebody just died, you want to go over there and you want to minimize it. Hey, listen, folks, we ran into just a small issue, but the good news is you do have the options to start enjoying your vehicle right away. All right? So let me ask, who do you feel is willing to help you by being added so you could drive home in your vehicle, immediately? Or so you can start enjoying your vehicle right away? Or so you can start driving your vehicle so you can drive your vehicle home as soon as possible? So who do you feel is willing to help you by being added so you can drive your vehicle home as soon as possible? Or right away? Okay? Asking those questions. Get them to tell you who they feel. And regardless of who they feel, learn more about that person. Get that telephone number. Allow them to call and do your best to get them to call and speak to them, preferably in your office while you're right there. So if there's any issues or any questions, you can help that person out. But when it comes to asking for a cosigner, utilizing the sales pattern interrupts. I just went through the steps. You want to handle it up front by asking the right questions. Is there anyone else going to be driving the vehicle besides you or driving in it with you? Okay? Yeah, my significant other. Okay. Or no, it's just me. All right. So if you find something you really like, you are the decision maker. Yes. So the buck stops here. Right. Okay. Boom. All right. The next thing we want to know is hey, what do you feel maybe in your previous credit history or you use in your previous payment history that could prevent us from using one of our primary lenders? All right. Next thing after that, okay, you got that information, you go to management, now you come out, and they do need a cosigner. Remember, it's a little thing. So when you come out, all right, folks, or all right, John, all right, Renee, we ran into a small issue, but the good news is you do have the option to start enjoying your vehicle right away. All right. Now, who do you feel is willing to help you by being added so you can drive your vehicle home as soon as possible, or drive your truck home, or drive your F-150, or drive your Nissan Maxima, or drive your Toyota Camry home? Okay. You want to ask these questions. All right. So those are just a few steps that you could take. Handle it and isolate it to see if there's another decision maker up front as opposed to waiting to the back. Also, ask them what do they feel could be in their previous payment history that may prevent you from using one of the primary lenders. And remember something, if they do need a cosigner, that's just a small issue that you ran into, because the good news, they do have the option to start enjoying their vehicle right away, which is true. And then you ask them, who do you feel is willing to help you by being added so you can drive home in your vehicle as soon as possible, or right away, or immediately? All right? These are some of the ways that you handle it. And if you have any other questions about anything, please let me know. Make sure you post your comment. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. I'm Brian Maxwell. I hope this helps out, and I look forward to seeing you at the dealership. It's the complete How to Dominate at the Dealership online automotive sales training program, and it comes complete with hours and hours. Let me tell you what it has. It has the Dominate at the Dealership automotive audios, which takes you all the way through the sales process. If you struggle with process, never had one, this gives you one. It gives you the step-by-step, but not only just the step-by-step, it gives you the psychology behind it, okay? Why you're doing what you're doing. There's over 3 hours of video. There's over 2 hours of audio. You also get the sales training manual, which lays out each and every step, which also has the discovery questions, which when you're qualifying to help you build better rapport. You also have access to the telephone scripts when making phone calls, prospecting, sending emails. You also get the word tracks on how to overcome objections. Like, I want to speak to my spouse, I want to think about it, things of that nature. What also is included is the Facebook, how to drive Facebook leads. Okay, that's over 3 hours of video training to teach you everything from how to set it up, how to get it going, and for as little as $20, how to get yourself, your dealership, and your brand in front of people looking for what it is that you have. You also get how to drive leads from YouTube, the ebook that comes with that. You also get online traffic surge, which is 2 hours on how to use other social media outlets like Instagram and Snapchat to drive people. You also have access to over 40 word tracks, from greeting your customers, sitting them down, qualifying with them, how to do a total and complete walk around that'll wow your customer. You know, the way that what do you do after you come back from a demonstration drive? Every single word track to every objection, from about the trade, from about they want to think about it, to they want to shop around. You'll have more tools in your arsenal than you'll know what to do, and always better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. Believe that. And on top of that, you also get a one-on-one telephone call with me. You're going to get an email, and it's going to ask you what's the best date and time that I have free if your time meets with my time on my schedule. And you and I get on the phone and make sure we strategize and see how we can best implement these for you at your store to get you more profitable, rocking and rolling, okay? And so you have access to all of this information tonight, right now, available to you. And typically, if you see online, I sell this program for $997. Okay, but the fact that you did stay to the end, and the fact that you are somebody that is trying to do the best that you can, the least I can do is support you in the best way that I know how, is give you access to every tool, every word track, everything that myself and other top producing salespeople are using across the country. Okay, so I'm gonna make it available to you. You get the Dominate at the Dealership, you get to drive Facebook leads, you get the word tracks, you get the YouTube training, you get the 10 videos of 100 success tips, you get the sales training manuals, you get the online traffic surge program. You get each and every one of these, not for $997, but you get it for a fraction of that, for a tenth, for $97, for less than a cup of coffee, for 1 month, a day. You get access to information that not just help you make money this month, but it help you make money for the rest of your life. And so if you've always said that you wanted to help, you were looking for the training, you watch these videos and you see that it's real, and real recognize real. And if you think you're getting something from these YouTube videos, imagine when you get started. And to top it all off, to show you how confident I am in it, you also receive a 90-day money-back guarantee on it. So you get it, you apply it, you take the steps, and you do what's required, And guess what? If you don't feel like, if you haven't seen it benefit you and generate you more money, you let me know and I'll get you your money back. Okay, 90-day guarantee on top of that. So all you have to do is click the link in the description. Go on over, get started. I'll send you the email. You and I'll set up a time for us to get together because this is only for a limited time that I'm able to do this, okay? But it's my way to give back. So thank you for sticking around. Click the link in the description. Go on over, get started. You'll get the email from me. Let's set it up. Let's get together. But other than that, I hope this helps. Be on the lookout because I got part 2 coming, which is the 7 reasons why people in car sales get fired within 90 days from the perspective of the management. So click the link in the description. Go on over and get started. You'll get an email. You and I'll schedule a time for us to talk. In the meantime, go ahead, click the link, get started, and I look forward to seeing you at the dealership. Over and out.